John Daniel here, today at the old Slavins furniture property here in downtown Massena. Earlier this year, there was quite a controversy, as you saw on YouTube, about demolishing these buildings.
$500,000. You don't even know what it's going to tear that building down. You'd be lucky if
I
you
didn't say we took it over. That's the
$500,000.
Board of Trustees that has to make that decision, not me.
Well, I'd like to hear from some of the board. What's their opinion on this?
We will. Right now, it's public input.
I'm not objecting to taking it over, but we ought to know what we're taking over and what it's going to cost us. Let
Yeah.
me know it's what it's going to cost
In order
me.
to do that, we have to have ownership, because you can't just go in and start helping yourself to a building you don't even own. The problem with this whole ordeal is that you have a family that owns that parcel. They chose not to pay the taxes.
Right.
So now you as a taxpayer, as me as a taxpayer, and everybody in this room has to pay for that family's mistake. That's the bottom line. Period. I have to pay for the Slavins family's mistakes, Mr. Bassmation. You do, I do, and everybody else. If they want to step up to the plate and pay the taxes, they have that opportunity when the foreclosure process goes through. Because before they go through and turn it over to the Village of Massena, the owner of that parcel has an opportunity to take ownership back. All they got to do is pay $300,000 back taxes, sir.
Well, finally the buildings are going to be demolished. I'm going to walk down this way. Obviously the buildings have been vacant for some time, and they've blocked off the road here. It's been blocked off for several weeks, and traffic cannot go through here. I'm going to today give you some history of Slavins furniture. We'll start right here. This building here was the old storage area. They used to pull up here to deliver furniture and trucks. And before this was the old Ball Coal Company. You come in closer. Ball Coal Company building. Huge building, 3 stories in the huge basement. And I remember going in there when I was younger, seeing certain things like the old Slavin Model T car and beautiful dark old, I believe, Cadillac from the 1950s. We go here, one time there were apartments up here. Back in the early 1980s, late 1970s, I had a brother and sister that lived here. They used to stay here. And the entranceway, of course, is blocked off. But as a kid, I used to go up this way, up these stairs here, to go up into these apartments. That was a long time ago, and I remember in the bathroom, one of the back apartments, you could see there was a door. You could see into the storage area in one of the floors, and you could see the big wheel to an old elevator that was pulled by rope. I used to be amused at that elevator, but I never got to see it until I was older. I'm going to read a history of Slavins. We're going to go back up down the street here more. This is all boarded up. Right here is a stained glass window, Slavin and Shulkin. The business was started by Mr. Shulkin and Mr. Slavin. I have some pictures here. We'll pull them out on my file as quick as I can here. This was Sam Slavin, who started Slavins, and this was his business partner, Jacob Shulkin. In their later years, back in this is probably the 1950s, these photos were snapped. I also have here, after Sam retired, Abby Slavin took over, and this is a younger photo of Abby, who lived on Bridges Avenue. Abby was very, very well known, of course. He knew a lot of things. He used to come here to visit Slavins when it was open to get information from Abby and interview him. And in 1991, I wrote an article in the newspaper. I'm going to walk down more this way. I used to go in through this way, basically, or the newer section. And I guess we'll do it from the doorway I used to go into. You still see the Art Deco stained glass windows from most likely 1920 1927, and hopefully those will be salvaged. We'll read this. Slavins Furniture and Jewelry Store stands at the corner of Main and Water Streets. The first firm opened its doors to the community October 13th, 1913, with the newly formed partnership of Jewish immigrants Samuel B. Slavin and Jacob Shulkin. The partners rented an old carriage shop at 10 Water Street from William Williams, then proprietor of the St. Lawrence Inn. The St. Lawrence Inn was actually right there, but it burned to the ground later on, and the lot was vacant for years. But the Slavins purchased it later, and they built a modern structure out of aluminum in the late 1950s. I guess I can walk backwards here and talk as we go along. They purchased that building in 1915 and later tore it down to erect a better store, which you see right here, this section. The S&S is still up there, the marker in 1927 for the stone markers. Hopefully those will be saved. They expanded their operation to build a new facility in 1927, and 1 year later they bought a former grist mill on the same street and converted it into a large warehouse, which we just saw, and that's going to be demolished soon. They purchased the former Ball Company property and buildings adjoining their store in July 1938. Abby Slavin, the present owner in 1991, who's now deceased, Sam's son, has been with the store for approximately 50 years. You see, my dad and his partner went into business. The whole inventory was about $900. Through the years, you know, the business has expanded. Some of the items they carried were cedar chest at $14.50, a dining room suite for $70, and a desk at $8.50. Also, at one time, there was a 1,000-watt radio station at this location. In the new location, I'm going to walk down here. There were many businesses upstairs when this was built in the late 50s during the boom of the St. Lawrence Seaway. This building is reportedly, as to the village officials, at least what they've said, is going to be saved because it's still sturdy. One time the Massena employment office was located here, and the furniture store was downstairs, and there were several other offices upstairs. And the radio station, which was called WSTS, was located in the basement. Well, I had a friend by the name of Harry Goldman, and he had a radio station at the time, Slavin recalled. He heard about Massena and came up in here and looked over things and decided to open a radio station here. Today that radio station is WYBG Radio 1050. He felt there was room enough for 2 stations in town. Later we sold it to a fellow from New York who at the time had 5 stations and was looking to buy. So we're going to go down a little the corner. As you can see, it's all blocked off, as I said. We'll go out here. They're going to take off the old canopy on the front here, and I don't know what they're going to salvage, but this section will be saved, and the rest down the street, you'll pan down that way. The rest of those buildings are going to be demolished next to the new restaurant that went into business recently. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this quick video blog about Slavins Furniture in downtown Massena. We'll see you for now. Hey everyone. Well, it's happening now. They're demolishing finally Slavins Furniture Store. And I am heading to Town Hall. I'm taking a piece here. I got old stained glass. It's heading down to the Town Hall for the Massena Museum. So we're going to do this.